Back on the Chad Hasty Show. Welcome back to the first full hour here at the American Airlines Center, the Trump 2020 campaign rally here in Dallas. We're broadcasting live just right next door to Victory Plaza is where we are. And joining us right now to talk about how the Republican Party is doing in Texas. Also tonight's rally, the chairman of the Republican Party of Texas, State Chairman James Dickey. Welcome back.
Good morning, Chad. It's a real pleasure to be with you. And what a beautiful day it is out here at American Airlines Center and the amazing crowd that we already have. I posted a video from before 7 a.m. this morning when there were already hundreds, if not thousands, of people out, and the crowd continues to grow and the excitement continues to grow.
Yeah, they're showing videos up on the big screen outside the American Airlines Center of Trump victory, Trump election night, and the sad anchors and all that. And people are getting a kick out of it. They're loving it. They're having a great time.
Absolutely.
It's a great feeling out here.
It is, and not only that, this is a great opportunity for us. One of the great things about working in party politics is getting to work together with so many, and we have worked with the president's team, and we have a team of folks out here getting these excited pro-president, pro-Republican folks signed up to be part of our new 10K for 10R initiative. And it's not running a 10K. We need 10,000 Republican volunteers who are willing to help register 10 Republican new voters each. And we are getting volunteers signed up by the hundreds, and we will exceed that 10,000 goal, I'm sure.
As you know, the Democrats are working hard, just as the Republicans are, for 2020. Democrats and the media love to talk about, is this the year? Is this going to be the year Texas turns blue? What are your feelings right now on the state of Texas and Texas staying red?
Well, it won't surprise anyone listening to this, but Nancy Pelosi is wrong, and the New York Times is not telling the truth. Texas is not going to flip, but it's not going to flip because we are doing the work that we have to do to make sure it doesn't flip, and that is why we are doing this boots on the ground. We have double the staff that we had at our peak last election. We are already implementing our plan, and we have already raised hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay to have over 150 paid field staff on the ground across the state at the Republican Party of Texas, the biggest paid field staff the Republican Party has ever had, by next June. Then we're also setting records in fundraising to help pay for all this, to help work this. Last month we reported the biggest single donation the party has ever had, but we also have thousands of new donors coming into the party, and people who are really fed up and really tired of what they see as a constant attempt to overthrow the valid results of the 2016 election and to threaten our way of life here in Texas. And we're simply not standing for it, and we are doing the hard work necessary to make sure it won't stand.
But besides getting the vote out, what do you do for some of these suburban areas that, as you know, in the midterms, a lot of these suburban areas that were typically Republican went blue, or they at least went purple. In the Dallas area, in the area of Tarrant County, you had that West Texas firewall, which really helped Senator Ted Cruz,
absolutely,
and the Lieutenant Governor and others. Is it finding new voters in a suburban area, or is it trying to reach those Republicans that may have, flirted around with Beto O'Rourke to come back to the Republican Party?
So it's actually both. There were about 400,000 voters who voted for Governor Abbott but did not vote for Senator Cruz. And yes, we need to be sure that we win those back, that those folks do vote for President Trump and everybody else down the ballot. But O'Rourke, actually, his smart goal was add 1 million Democrat voters. And he could do it because they had spent years registering new voters and because he had a volunteer force that was out there working. And not surprisingly, that volunteer force started in urban areas in Democrat strongholds, and it grew out from there to the suburbs, which we had been consistently winning. So we had a lot to risk and a lot that we could lose. Well, they did exactly that. His paid staff went from 18 2 months before the election to 821 the month of the election. And all that had, what that was they had thousands of volunteers that they had already tracked, they had already trained, they already had on board. They knew how those volunteers did, and they just went to the best of them and said, if we pay you, can we have you full time this last month of the election? Well, all of our research shows that turnout effort in the last month of election, that is absolutely 100% critical. It's the most impactful. So, what do we need to do better in those areas? We need to make sure that we're not letting them do that uncontested, and we are not, which is why we have the biggest paid field staff we've ever had by a mile. We will have the biggest volunteer force that Republicans have put on the ground since 1980. In 1980 election, I spoke with the man who ran President Reagan's campaign in Texas in 1980, Ernie Angelo, and he said he had to send thank you notes to 22,000 volunteers who helped the Republican Party flip Texas to red. Well, that's how we're going to keep it red. We are recruiting door to door. I was out there working the line this morning and collecting sign-up cards with people's emails and phone numbers, people who are committed to helping us register new voters and later turn out those voters. That's how we do it. It's not rocket science. It is good, solid, hard work, and there's no Republican I know who's afraid of hard work.
Visiting with Chairman James Dickey here on the Chad Hasty Show. You've got, I believe, Senator Cornyn will be speaking tonight here at the rally. He's up for re-election, and that's obviously a big race. I'm pretty confident he's going to win that race here in Texas. What about other congressional Republicans, state Republicans? Are we expecting a pretty decent size?
We know of at least some of the congressional delegation who will be here, some of the House members who will be here. I know a lot of the House members had a conflict because they've got a caucus meeting in Austin today and tomorrow. But we are excited about folks turning out. But the great thing about these rallies is it's about the energy and excitement for the grassroots. It is, of course, people turning out to see President Trump, but it is almost as much about the community impact of being together than about any particular speaker any given time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just, pulling up, and I was visiting with Liz Harrington earlier. People are happy, and it's one of those where when you see people who are in line for hours and in some cases days, people usually aren't happy, Chairman. Right? I mean, when you see people in a crowd, you always have at least one or two people at least who are very upset. Everybody had a smile on their face. Everyone was, chanting and very excited. And that's what this is. It's a big opportunity to be part of a community.
Absolutely. And for those who aren't here, there's a huge promenade that goes from the front of the American Airlines Center out to the street. And it is full of switchbacks, of lines, of people waiting. And what really warmed my heart as I came up, the stairs at the end of that promenade are where we had the very first Dallas Tea Party on February 27th, 2009. I called into a radio show. We encouraged people to show up. We recruited our friends and sent out emails and sent out text messages. And we had people show up, and a few hundred people started the whole thing down there on those stairs. And I look at the crowd that's out here today, and it's just a wonderful continuation at a national level as part of the party and part all integrated. That was that grassroots up energy of we have to do better for the future. Before
I let you go, there's one more thing I got to ask you about, and that is the controversy that's been going on.
Sure.
In the Texas House. The audio was released, and that's audio I think you and just about every Texas leader wanted released.
Yes.
Of that meeting with Michael Quinn Sullivan, Representative Burrows, and Speaker Dennis Bonnen. Any thoughts on that, and do you think that'll have an impact on the election? Do you think that the average voter out there will really care?
I don't. But I've listened to the recording. The transparency I've been asking for and have always fought for all of my career appears to finally seen the light of day. We trust the Texas Rangers are doing their job to investigate, and the House Republican Caucus is meeting this week. I am hopeful that we will get a quick resolution. But either way, as the head of the party, I looked very carefully at this and thought very carefully about this. And what is the soundbite in there that a Democrat's going to use to try to fight against anybody getting reelected or anybody getting elected in Texas? And I don't see the soundbite that helps them win an election. I mean, Democrats go after Republicans all the time for everything and for nothing. We've seen it right now with the president, and Ukraine is attempt number 37 of them to try to make something out of nothing, and I don't expect that this will be any different.
You've had some House members who have called for Speaker Bonin to resign his speakership. Sure. Do you think he needs to, or how do you feel about that?
I think they are exactly they are the voters who get to vote for the speaker or not. And I am glad that they will be taking a look at that and talking about it this weekend.
Yeah, I think there will probably be a lot of talk about that this weekend.
What I can say is, from the party standpoint, our platform says it is absolutely critical that the Speaker of the House owe their election to the Republican caucus. The worst possible outcome of any of this would be if some part of the caucus broke off, joined up with the Democrats, and elected someone that they joined together to make happen. So we are sticking to our work to make sure that every Republican elected House member, and I'm doing my part to make sure we have more elected Republican House members, that every one of them commit to sticking together as a choice of the caucus, because we cannot afford to be sold out like that again.
Very nice. Chairman Dickey, we always appreciate it when you appear on the program. We know you're going to have a busy day. You're going to be around here till 11 p.m. tonight. Is that right?
I am. Yep. Off and on. We've got fundraising events to go to. I've got meetings with folks, and
you got a busy
really
day.
Excited. Yeah. But I am looking forward to tonight's rally. Please, everybody, join us if you can. Watch online if you can. It's going to be amazing.
Yep, absolutely. And remember, folks, you can listen at KFYO as well.